Welcome everybody to our webinar today on supplier diversity. You will learn what it means to become a certified as a diverse supplier, which is a great opportunity for your business. So today we have three guests and I'm going to introduce them. We're going to start off by having an introduction to the Magnet Export Business Portal. And then we've got three panelists. One of them is Cassandra, Edith, and we've got Devin from Magnet. And at the end of the webinar, we're going to host a Q&A session. So let me just welcome everybody. My name is Andrew Patricio. Secondly, we have Devin Franklin. She's the project manager and the newest addition to the Magnet Export Business Platform. Devin works directly with businesses and business support organizations to help raise awareness of the numerous opportunities available to Ontario businesses to help them grow and expand internationally. Devin believes that when businesses thrive, we all do, and I agree with that. Devin wants to ensure that businesses have access to the resources necessary to grow their business. Then we have Cassandra. Cassandra Dorrington and her team lead the charge of championing business relationships and economic growth of the Canadian supply chain through the inclusion of Aboriginal and minority suppliers. During her tenure, Cassandra has focused on expansion of the CAMSC brand, both nationally and internationally, resulting in significant growth and impact in the Canadian marketplace. So really interesting. Cassandra, known for involvement in both the business and community environment, Cassandra has been named one of Diversity Canada's influential women in diversity and HR and sits on the National Advisory Council for the Office of the Small and Medium Enterprises for the Government of Canada. She also belongs to Black Business Enterprise, the Dalhousie University Board of Governors, as well as the National Departmental Audit Committee. So lots of experience. Our third presenter is Edith. And Edith is the Regional Director for Asia and Canada for WeConnect International, a global NGO working to identify, certify, and train women-owned businesses and connect them to market opportunities. With its 80 corporate member buyers, in her role, she oversees market activities and local leads for Australia, China, India, Indonesia, Japan, Singapore, Turkey, and of course Canada. She's also the interim regional director for the UK and Europe, so lots and lots of experience. So Devin, tell us a little bit about some of the programs you have available and most importantly, how we can use this to grow our businesses.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Andrew, for hosting us, and welcome to Edith and Cassandra. Thank you for making the time to speak to our audience about the value add that they can get from becoming a diverse supplier. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Magnet Export Business Portal, how this new extension to the Magnet came to be, and then really turn it over to Cassandra and Edith to talk more about why it's so important to become a diverse supplier and what the opportunity is by certifying your business. On the export side, it was really looking at what is the business case for exporting. And the evidence was really clear. For a small business in Ontario, exporting means increasing your revenues, it's expanding your customer base. Here in Canada, we have such a small marketplace, and it means becoming more competitive. The Canadian brand is so strong in the international marketplace, and looking outwards is a great way to improve your business and increase its capacity to explore and expand. But when we were talking with small businesses, the challenges of export became really, really clear. There was an overwhelming array of export resources, so just a simple search in Ontario alone, there are over 300 different programs. If you're a business with less than 10 employees, who has the time to navigate all of those resources to determine that maybe only one of them is really only relevant for your business? There is limited time, as I said, with those limited staff resources. It means trying to find the right opportunities for your business becomes really difficult and can be really frustrating. For a lot of small businesses that we spoke to, they found it very frustrating to navigate government websites, landing on an opportunity that they were really excited about, only to find that it had become expired or archived because it's no longer available. And then understanding what are the different multiple programs and program providers that are available. So between the Government of Canada, the Province of Ontario, and other key stakeholders, how do you make sense, how they work together or don't, and what makes it right for your business. And that's really what was the incentive or the motivating factors to launch the Magnet Export Business Portal. And it's really about just making it easier for small and medium-sized businesses to navigate the trade ecosystem. It's really about putting the opportunities in your email inbox so you don't have to go out and search for them. They come right to you after you complete a short onboarding process. We partner with leading industry organizations to provide this tool as a value-added service to the businesses they're already serving, but also to allow them to be able to target to their businesses those opportunities that they're eligible for. So we're really proud to be partnered with CAMSC and WeConnect, who help our diverse-owned businesses to not only become certified and access the opportunities that they have within their own growing network, but also to grow and scale outside of Canada. We also work and are fully funded by the Province of Ontario. We work with EDC, Export Development Canada, Global Affairs Canada, and the Business Development Bank of Canada. And so all of this content we curate with our partners and we push it through the system. We use targeted communications, which is really the pillar of our system and our functionality. It's not a directory. We don't work with our partners and collate all of their programs and services and put it in a directory and ask you to hunt through them and search for what's right. It's really about the targeted communications. So we filter all of our content that comes into the back end, and we make sure that it only hits the companies that are eligible for that opportunity. So if we have an opportunity that's for companies in ICT or in tech, a company that's in agriculture or manufacturing is never going to see that opportunity because it's not something that they would be able to apply for or be eligible to attend. So what really makes the system unique is the targeted communication functionality. It's really about making sure businesses aren't inundated with more information than what's really relevant to their business. So it's really about that relevancy and making sure that you're on top of timely opportunities that are coming through the pipeline, whether it's coming from the federal government, from the Province of Ontario, from our partners, CAMSC or WeConnect, or any other of our partners that we work with. Our recent functionality that we've just added to our platform is the diversity declaration. And so we encourage businesses who identify as diverse-owned, whether you're certified or not, to identify which of the diverse-owned designations your business qualifies for. And what this allows us is it allows us to connect you with organizations like CAMSC and WeConnect based on what you complete in your profile. And so even if you're not certified yet, if you identify that you are a diverse-owned business, we have the network to be able to connect you with the certifying bodies that can make sure that you take your business to the next level and become certified, and then you become a member of their organization. And that's why I'm really excited to have CAMSC and WeConnect on the webinar today to talk about really what that means for your business. So whether you find out about CAMSC or WeConnect through the Magnet platform or vice versa, it's allowing you to take advantage of both programs. And as a diverse-owned business, understanding what the certification process means, what it means for your business, what it means for your business bottom line is really, really important. So I'm excited to welcome both our speakers, and we're going to start with Cassandra from CAMSC and have her talk about really what supplier diversity means.
Thank you very much, Andrew and Devin. I'm delighted to be here this afternoon. What is interesting is, let me step back for a second. Let me just put this in context. CAMSC, Canadian Aboriginal Minority Supplier Council, we are going to be 15 years old this year. So we're the oldest certifying body in Canada. And we were started, as I said, 15 years ago by the automotive ICT companies because they believed that this whole concept of supplier diversity would work in the Canadian landscape. And really, what they were trying to do was emulate something that's been happening for 50 years in the U.S. to say it's successful, it brings underrepresented groups to the table. They were able to identify and achieve opportunities and grow. Why can't we do it in the Canadian landscape? So we were successfully started, and after CAMSC started, then you had a range of, there's now 6 certifying bodies in the Canadian landscape. But let me tell you specifically what is supplier diversity and why we are championing it. So CAMSC champions supplier diversity, and we advocate for opportunities to connect suppliers into businesses. Supplier diversity is really this particular proactive initiative that large-scale organizations use to be inclusive in their supply chain. And by that means, they are outreaching to these diverse suppliers to incorporate them inside the supply chain. So as opportunities come up, they reach out and ask these suppliers, are you ready to bid on this opportunity? We'd like to include you on this particular opportunity as we go forward. So in essence, it's leveling the playing field for diverse suppliers to be able to bid on the opportunities. In the Canadian landscape, when we talk about supplier diversity, we are really identifying key underrepresented groups who are at the business table now. So they would be our Indigenous or our Aboriginal folks. They would be visible minorities. They would be women, the LGBT community, as well as veterans or persons with disability. So all those particular stakeholder groups are now being targeted. Supplier diversity really, in the U.S. as well as Canada, it's being driven because it's changing demographics of what we see in the landscape. So we're seeing the diversity of the population, the diversity of the business that are starting up. We also have the whole essence of corporate social responsibility going. So the need to be able to sort of be inclusive and have some sustainability as you're looking at your supply base, as well as there's a whole government compliance that goes with this. So as a result of these particular drivers, we're seeing that companies are able to enhance their brand because they use diverse suppliers. They're able to ensure engagement with these diverse suppliers, as well as become more competitive. So all these are very positive aspects we are hearing from our corporate members as to why this is the business thing for them to be able to do. Now, when we talk about supplier diversity, and when you identify, are you the right candidate to become a diverse supplier? For CAMSC in particular, what we're talking about, you have to be 51% owned, managed, and controlled, either Aboriginal and or minority. So therefore, if it's a 50-50%, it doesn't qualify. We're looking for the majority, so the 51% owned, managed, and controlled. We're looking for you to be a for-business profit located in the Canadian region. You must be able to operate in Canada, and you must be able to provide services, products and or services. So we're not looking for holding companies. We're looking for actual companies who provide product or services. We've also opened it up. It's Canadian citizens. We actually have a reciprocity with the U.S., so we have U.S. citizens who operate in Canada as well. So these are very basic criteria. And again, if you just open up your business, you're hanging out your shingle, we're looking for you as a business, if you have a business plan, to be able to certify. But indeed, these are companies who are well entrenched who are now doing business. If anyone needs to understand what is the definition, when I say Indigenous and or Aboriginal, I'm defining in the Canadian context those individuals who identify as First Nations, Inuit, or Métis. When we talk about visible minority in the Canadian landscape, we're really talking about non-white in color. So we're very specific as to who actually fits the criteria in which we operate. So therefore, certification for us is once you've identified you meet these criteria, you go online into our portal, and then you go through this rigorous process of appending particular information. So that allows us to identify right through from your address, through your products and or services, through the ownership of the company into your financial statements that you actually qualify. Once you then become certified as a CAMSC member, that's when we open up the door and start to say, how do we help you grow your business? So therefore, the services that we provide to our suppliers as well as to our corporate members would be linkages. You're now being seen in the diversity business marketplace. Our corporate members can go and search for you by product, service, keyword, NAICE code, whatever the case may be. They also now have the ability as well to be able to reach out to you directly. So if bids come out, or RFPs come out, RFIs, they can actually send it out across the network to ask you to actually bid on these particular things. We also have the opportunity that what we do is not only are you visible that way, we can actually connect you. We run a series of networking opportunities that enable the corporate member to come together, the diverse business owner to come together, to actually have that discussion or that matchmaker, so to speak, to be able to identify if the value proposition aligns to what the corporate member is looking for. And the next step, of course, would be to invite you to actually participate and or bid on the opportunity. We also have a development program where we believe that you've heard Devin talk about, your ability to be able to develop the supplier so you can grow your businesses. So therefore, whether it's particular training, seminars, webinars, much like we're going through today, we will get you connected so therefore you can build the capacity to be able to grow your business and develop as a result of that. Now, CAMSC, as I said, we've been around for 15 years, and we have probably about 85 or 90 corporate members we work with. And that would range anywhere from your financial institutions, so whether it be your RBCs, your BMOs, your TDs. It could be right through to your IBMs and into your pharma companies, your Pfizer, your Merck, your J&J. So we have a range of across just about any industry you can think about. They work with us at CAMSC, and they are open to say we want to differentiate and we want to have a more inclusive supply chain. How do we identify? So CAMSC will identify. We will share these names and these business names with these corporations, and then they themselves will reach out and send out RFIs, RFPs, and start to work with the suppliers. In each year, we actually reach out and we identify how much business who's doing business with whom, and how much business is being done. And we have seen up to $700 million a year being done between our corporate members and our diverse suppliers. And that simply says that the opportunities are available, the value propositions once matched. If they're successful, there's distinctly an opportunity to be able to grow. And the nice thing about CAMSC and our connection with Magna Portal is not only do you grow inside Canada, you have the opportunity now to go global, whether it be through Magna or whether it be through our global partners who are in the UK, South Africa, Australia, and China, and the US. You have the opportunity to go beyond borders depending on what your capacity is and where you want to do business. So I'll stop right there and turn it back to Andrew.
Thank you very much, Cassandra. That was really interesting. So if you're a diverse supplier, I see this as a massive opportunity to grow your business. Okay, so next we've got Edith. Edith's going to share with us a little bit of information about WeConnect and how it can help us grow our business. So take it away, Edith.
Hey, thank you, Andrew. And it's always lovely to be on a panel with CAMSC. Cassandra, it's great to hear your voice. We work closely with CAMSC in Canada and with some of the partner organizations in the countries she mentioned. In fact, she was here last week speaking on a panel for our Global Supplier Diversity Symposium. So it's always wonderful to know that there is an ecosystem to support suppliers that are in these diverse categories. So I'm Edith, as you can see there, and I'm going to talk a little bit about how WeConnect International specifically works with women-owned businesses to certify them, connect them to our corporate buyers. Cassandra did an awesome job of already explaining what supplier diversity is, and we follow a lot of the same best practices as organizations. So for WeConnect, our mission is really to help women-owned businesses succeed in global value chains. We're really the only global NGO that's working with corporations, and we have about the same number as CAMSC, about 80 to 90 corporations, mostly Fortune 500 companies who have joined us as members that are really committed to more inclusive sourcing practices. So we not only work with them on best practices and how to do that, but we, on the other side, look for the suppliers globally. So identifying, training, and certifying women-owned businesses outside of the U.S. We do have a sister organization called the Women's Business Enterprise National Council, WBENC for short. We call them WeBank. They are certifying women-owned businesses only in the United States, and so we certify women outside the United States following the same criteria. We currently have close to 8,000 women-owned businesses in our e-network database based in 115 countries, and we offer certification in 45 of those countries. So in a nutshell, we educate our women business owners. We are always looking to provide them opportunities to access new markets, so we talk about that side of it, but increasingly we're seeing that second component, the training, coming along, not only for corporations who are interested in learning about how to do this in other countries where it's still a very new concept, but we're seeing corporations actually funding training programs for our women-owned businesses in various countries because they want to support the capacity building of these women business owners. So we're actually going to have some trainings coming up in Canada this year, which we're really excited about, and we'll be happy to share more about that later on. We assess women-owned businesses, so of course we look at their criteria. As Cassandra mentioned, it's 51% owned, managed, and controlled as well for our criteria, and we also look at kind of their business readiness and give them some guidance on what corporates are looking for as well. And then connect. It's in our name. It's what we're all about. We call it the WeConnect effect. We really work to have these face-to-face interactions. We still believe that the face-to-face interactions at our events, at our matchmaking activities, at some of our very exclusive meet the corporate member buyer-seller meets are really still the best ways to create business opportunities. However, we also rely very heavily on virtual connections as well, being a global organization. What is certification? I won't belabor this. It's, as I said, similar to what CAMSC does, but it really is a tool, and that's really how we describe it to our potential women business owners. It's not a guarantee of a contract. It's not a set-aside. We discourage corporates actually from doing set-asides for women-owned businesses. We want the women-owned businesses just to be able to compete on a level playing field and use this certification as a tool. So we want it to be part of the business strategy and really think about how you can utilize this certification to gain greater access to different opportunities. And then, of course, I'm happy to talk about this later. It's a tiered assessment fee based on revenue and geography for our particular certification. So some of the benefits, again, you get those connections with corporate buyers, but one of the things we really love to see, and we're seeing an uptick in, is connecting with our women-owned businesses with our corporate buyers in other countries. So, for example, last year we had some of our women-owned businesses from Australia come to our Canada conference that we hold annually in Toronto. We're seeing our Canadians go out to Singapore for events in that country, and in other ways we're seeing just a lot of cross-border cultivation, and it's really cool for us to be able to partner with Magnet to help bring some additional opportunities to the Canadian marketplace for our women there. So we look at it really as a competitive advantage. It's not something to shy away from, it's something to embrace. Again, participating in corporate matchmaking is a huge opportunity that is just for certified women's business enterprises. We do have a self-registration, which is free, but this certification proves to the corporates who have, reports that they need to complete, saying how many millions of dollars did you spend in a particular country with women-owned businesses. And if you're certified as a women-owned business, they can feel very comfortable including you in their actual spend reporting. Just a couple more points in. So we're seeing that our women-owned businesses are actually voluntarily tracking their own spend with other women-owned businesses. And in a recent survey we did, we learned that about 20% of our women-owned businesses are tracking their own spend to see where their dollars are going as a business, which we found really interesting. So we're working to really connect more women business owners with each other, both in a particular market and across borders. I mentioned the trainings that we offer in just about every country. We've been able to offer various types of trainings, either hosted by our corporates or hosted by us. And then, of course, the exposure and unique opportunities. For example, we had Forbes reach out to us last year wanting to interview a women-owned business, so we were able to put forward a women-owned business to them to be interviewed and featured in Forbes Japan magazine, which was really fantastic. And then the last thing I want to highlight is the logo that we share with our sister organization. It's the women-owned logo that you see there. Our certified women's business enterprises get a license to utilize that. We're seeing it as kind of the fair trade or the organic movement, where you see that on a product and you immediately know that it's a women-owned business. If you fly Delta Airlines, there's a good chance you're going to see a women-owned logo on the back of the pretzel bag, because that's a women-owned business that is doing business with Delta. So if you're not ready to certify, you can join for free, as I said. A lot of our startups or younger businesses tend to do this. It takes about 10 minutes. It gets you access to other women-owned businesses. It gets you invited to some events. Our corporates can still see you in our database, but they can see you're not certified, but you don't get access to their contact information. And then, as I said, it gets you on email distribution, newsletter, et cetera. So it really kind of gets you more informed about what's going on with our network. And then last slide, really welcome all the women-owned businesses here on the call to join us at what we call International Day. This is our full-day conference that takes place the day before our sister organization has their 3-day conference. This year it's in Baltimore, and it's going to be June 24th. It's a great opportunity not only to meet delegations of women-owned businesses from all over the world, but it's also a great opportunity to join in, if you are certified, our matchmaking session with our corporates, and if you're not certified, you still get the chance to interact with them through networking. Our contact information for our country director, Chelsea Prescott, who's out on leave, so I'm filling in for her today, but she's a really fantastic resource based in Toronto.
Thank you very much, Edith. That was really interesting and a great opportunity for all the women online. You need to join. And then, Devon, there's a bunch of questions here.
Yeah, that sounds great. Let's. I just have a couple questions for Cassandra and Edith before we conclude kind of the magnet side of the system and then open it up to the audience. And so, Cassandra and Edith, you know as well as anyone, when it comes to businesses, they really, it speaks true when we see another business realizing success and something that we can take part in. And so I'd ask if each of you could speak to a success story, so a business that's been certified as a diverse supplier, and how did that certification give them a competitive edge, whether it was connecting directly with a corporate or connecting with just a community of other diverse suppliers, and how that opened up some doors. So let's start with you, Cassandra, and then Edith, we'll have you chime in.
Okay, let me just, there's a number that come to mind, but I'll start with Kathy Chang, who runs Redwood Classic. She heard about us, became certified, and through the network, she was able to, one, start reaching out to some of the larger scale suppliers she's been doing a lot of promo work with, let's say Staples and things like that. But she then got in tow with the GMs and started working with them with some of their promo wear, some of their clothes that they were doing. And from there was nominated to go forth with EY as the winning women. She went through a whole development program with them that opened her up to a whole other series of corporate suppliers that she's been in touch with. Her business has grown dramatically. And the fact that you start with one client who opens the door, exposes you. That gives you introductions to another client. You also then start to bring some suppliers along with you as you come along that way. And she considers now she's not only just doing sort of she's doing tier 2 as well as tier 1 business. So she's been able to actually identify her particular niche and start to grow her business. And as well as that, she's put in her own supplier diversity program within her organization, so she's growing other diverse suppliers.
That's such a fantastic story of giving back and really recognizing the value of working with diverse-owned businesses and the kind of talent that they bring to your own business. That's fantastic. Edith, do you have a similar success story?
Sure. So one that just comes to mind is our one of our award winners actually last year at our conference. Her company is Everyday Office Supplies, and in 2017, she was at our Power of the Economy, which is the annual conference I mentioned there in Toronto. She came to that conference. She's a certified, what we call WBE, Women's Business Enterprise, with us. And she participated in the matchmaking session and, got a lot of great contact information, chatted with a lot of different corporates, and held on to the business card of Enterprise Holdings, who you probably all know owns, National, Car Rental, Enterprise, and a few other car rental chains. And they're based out of the United States, but they came up to the conference, and she stayed in touch with him and, kept the relationship going. And then when an opportunity to bid on a contract came along a few months later in early 2018, she bid on it, and she competitively won some business with Enterprise, which led her to receive enough money to actually be able to expand her business out of the Toronto, Ontario area to acquire other office supply companies in Western Canada, and thereby drastically increase her footprint in Canada and, of course, her revenues. So that's just one example that comes to mind. And then we gave her a congratulatory award at our conference a few months ago. So, yeah, it's always fun to be able to share those stories.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And we're always looking to profile these phenomenal businesses and demonstrating, one, the value of becoming a diverse supplier, but also the need to get out there. Oftentimes businesses kind of, don't go to the networking events or don't make the time within their busy days to attend events, and has both, examples show, like, really using the network that you become a part of when you become a diverse supplier to really, increase your own network capacity, but also to have that, snowball effect, similar to what Cassandra spoke to when she was talking about that success story. It really is a snowball effect when you start with one and continue. And so a question that I'm sure will be top of mind for lots of businesses is really, what is the cost to become a certified diverse supplier? And Edith, I know you spoke to, registering is free. Can you speak a little bit more about what the cost is to really go through the whole certification process?
Sure, absolutely. So yeah, the first thing is you just want to check out the network, see what it's all about, get the newsletters, get invited to some of the larger events like the conference. It's free, and as I said, it takes 10 minutes. You go onto our website. It's WeConnectInternational.org, and you click the certification tab. It'll give you an option to do self-registration, and that basically means that you put in some information about your business, and at the bottom you click a button that says, I promise I'm 51% or more women-owned. And so that's basically you just promising to the world that you are, and so our corporates can see that. For the certification itself, it is tiered. In Canada, I believe it starts at $575 US dollars, and then it's tiered from there upwards depending on your annual revenue. So really, you put in your information and then it will tell you what the fee will be. It doesn't get too expensive because we want to make sure that it can be something that's accessible, but assuming your business is at a growth stage and you see this as a tool, again, that's all done virtually. It's very rare that we would need to do what we call a site visit unless you have a very complex, very large company or some difficulties with sharing your documents. 99% of our certifications are done virtually through our secure system. They're uploaded through our e-network platform. So again, you go to the website, you click on certification, it'll just walk you through all the steps. You just keep hitting next. You pay the fee, upload your documents, and an assessor who is familiar with business documents, Chelsea actually herself does a lot of the assessments for Canada. We also have different partners that do assessments for us depending on the volume that we have. And if you're a French-speaking business, then we have our partner RSAQ up in Quebec that reviews those documents. So it usually takes, a few weeks for them all to be reviewed. We say allow 90 days just in case there's some back and forth or there's a document missing. But otherwise, it's usually within 30 days we can get you certified or let you know where you stand.
Amazing. That's fantastic. And for Cassandra, for businesses who want to become diverse suppliers of CAMSC, what is that process like, and what are the fees associated?
It's very similar to what Edith has described. We have sort of two tiers. So with the first tier, you can be part of the Diversity Business Directory, so that's free. You just register. So it's sort of a limited registration, but you'll get to see part of the opportunities that come and go. So therefore, what we use it to do so people can sort of kick the tires, take a look at what that means. We are part of this portal Bid and Go, which means anybody who registers with CAMSC or becomes part of that DVD, you have access to provincial and or municipal bids that come through as part of that whole certificate, as part of that process. So that's the free process. You just register. It's a preliminary registration. You get to see what's coming and going and determine if you want to take the next step. If you want to take the next step and become certified, again, much like WeConnect we have a tiered structure. So $295 is sort of your administrative fee to sign on and go for it. If your business is less than $500,000, your fee would be $350 a year. If it's between $500,000 and $5 million, your fee to certify would be $590. If it's over $5 million, it would be $750. So again, we try to make sure that the fee is not the obstacle for businesses to become part and parcel of the process. So once you've done that, if you have a bid or you have something that you want to do instantly, there's an expedite service. You can get it done within, I think, 5 to 7 business days. Other than that, it normally takes about 30 days And the longest, I always say to suppliers, it takes as long as it takes you to put your information into the portal. Because again, go through the process to make sure you understand what information you need to bring to sign into the application. And then by the time it gets uploaded to us and the staff gets to see it, it doesn't take very long to go through the process. We have our own assessors on staff, and they perform the site visit. So once your application has been uploaded, one of the staff will come out to your particular location, we'll do a site visit, and we marry that site visit with an onboarding visit. So not only do we have a better understanding of what your business is, we also understand what are your goals in entering the network and who you're trying to do business with. That helps us then identify and helping you through what is your plan on who you want to be able to deal with and what are some of the steps to do to take to get to that opportunity in that meeting. And therefore, also that enables us to take you through what resources are available to you as a business owner, what can you avail yourself of, what are the opportunities, what are the events coming up. So therefore, it enables you to lay a full-scale plan of how you go forward.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Cassandra. And thank you, Edith, and stay on the line. I'm going to quickly go through the kind of remainder of the Magnet Export portal and then open it up to audience questions. So audience members, please populate your questions in the sidebar where it says questions so that our distinguished panelists can answer any of your questions about becoming a diverse supplier. Just in terms of how our partnerships work with CAMSC and WeConnect, we have dedicated landing pages that are tied to each organization. And what it means is when you sign in and create an account through either CAMSC or the WeConnect platform, you also are tapping into any communications that CAMSC or WeConnect is putting out about their events, about things that are going on within their organizations and opportunities that you can leverage by following through with this certification process. And as Cassandra and Edith have both spoken to, it's really a nominal fee to become a certified business, and yet you're opening yourselves up to being able to tap into a myriad of different resources and also networks that become increasingly difficult to tap into, and CAMSC and WeConnect have already established those networks and can be there to help support you moving your business forward in diverse suppliers. So in terms of creating your profile, it's going to either one of the URLs. It's entering your basic business information, so your name, your address. That becomes really important for some of our location-specific opportunities. Your industry and your market served, we encourage you to put in as many industries or markets that you do serve or that you do belong to. It just opens your business up to more opportunities within our system. We ask you for your number of employees and your founding year. And then step 2 is when we ask you more specifics about export itself. Now, what's really, really important is that you do not need to currently be exporting in order to take advantage of the service. In fact, the motivation from the Ontario government when we were creating this was really to help small and medium-sized businesses that are not currently exporting to understand what the opportunities are out there and how they can take advantage of them. So this platform is really open to both current exporters who are looking to grow and deepen that export potential, as well as non-exporters who are really looking to see what's out there, see what their business would be eligible for, and what are some of those next steps to growing your business internationally. So we asked you about your total sales revenue. We asked you about what markets you are currently in terms of international markets and what markets you're interested in. Again, all of this information is private and confidential, and so you don't have to worry about any of this information being shared with any of our provincial or federal partners. The next step is really planning for success. Your email account that you tie to the registration process is the email account that we send time-sensitive notifications to. And so this isn't a platform that you need to sign into every day like a LinkedIn or a Twitter. This is something that goes right to your email inbox to alert you when you're eligible for a certain opportunity, whether it be a trade mission, a funding program, perhaps it's a network opportunity that's coming up through CAMSC or through WeConnect. And so it goes right to your email inbox so that you can action that opportunity. We also have a learning tab, and that's really significant for those businesses that maybe aren't currently exporting but are looking to learn more about what that means for their business. And we also have direct connections to our top tier partners like EDC, BDC, the Ontario government, and Global Affairs. So the benefits for business are pretty straightforward. It's targeted communication that's right for your business. It's convenient in that it's tied to your email inbox, and it's completely free. So this is similar to becoming registered on CAMSC's directory of diverse businesses or becoming registered with WeConnect as one of their diverse businesses. It's free to sign up, and then to take it to the next level, to either action a trade mission, to action a funding program, that requires a bit more work on your end of the business. But the initial just being targeted with what's going on, what your business is eligible for, is a completely free service. So I'm going to pause there and open it up to audience questions, and I'll turn it back over to Andrew to direct the questions to each of the speakers. We've got about 10 minutes left.
Thank you very much. That was really interesting, and again, great opportunities for business owners that are diverse. Women-owned businesses, a great opportunity to participate and sell to all these large companies, and I think this is a really, really big opportunity. All right, so I've got a question here from Rosaria, and the question is, do women owners have to be Canadian citizens? So let's ask Cassandra, do they have to be Canadian citizens to participate in this program?
Okay, this is Cassandra. I would say, as I said, Canadian citizen, U.S. citizen, or a permanent resident in Canada to be part of the CAMSC network.
Brilliant. And Edith, the same process with you guys, that you have to be Canadian citizen or permanent resident?
So for us, we do require a form of identification, but for us it's more important where the business is headquartered, not so much what your citizenship is. So if you are a citizen of another country, but your business is headquartered in Canada, we will certify you in Canada. And as long as you have some sort of valid government ID to prove who you are, that's fine. You don't necessarily have to be a citizen. If your business ends up being headquartered in another country, we would refer you to the certifying assessor in that particular country if we certify there as well.
Thank you very much for that. And Devin, the same process for the Magnet Business Portal. I mean, you've got to be a business-based. Just give us a little bit more information about that.
Yeah, so the business does have to be based in Canada. The owner doesn't have to necessarily be a Canadian citizen. They can be a permanent resident, but the business does have to be primarily based in Canada, as most of the opportunities that are coming through the export portal are coming from the federal and provincial government, and so those would be funded opportunities that are for Canadian-based businesses.
All right, really interesting. We got a question here from Dwight. I'm a consultant in the natural resource sector. Would my expertise and services be considered a diverse supplier? So maybe Cassandra and Edith, just go through some of their criteria again on what would allow Dwight to be considered a diverse supplier.
Okay, yeah. Primarily when I think of Dwight, is, as I'm saying, 51% owned, managed, and controlled. So his particular service or product or service is not the questionable area here. It really is, I'm talking about the ethnicity. So 51% owned, managed, controlled, minority, and or Aboriginal. That was what would get him in the door. Your product or service, when you're a consultant, we have plenty of consultants in the area, depending on whether it's in resources. Then his particular target then would be what company does he want to be able to start to work with. So again, back to the ownership and ethnicity.
Very, very interesting. There you go. Now we got a question for Devin about Magnet. So for a small business with prior knowledge, considering export, are there any resources available for education available on the portal? So that's the question about the education part. So just chat a little bit about that, Devin.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're currently exporting, your Learning tab will be directed and filtered based on your profile. So if you're currently exporting to China and you're interested in deepening that export potential, then we would have learning content in your Learning tab that would be specific to accessing Chinese markets and deepening that understanding. And so we work with organizations like Export Development Canada who have rich data on market entry plans, but also deepening that market and expanding within a certain region. And so if you're already currently exporting, we would use that answer to that question, where are you currently exporting, to be able to filter content that's going into your Learning tab. We'd also use that filter, and so if you're already exporting at a high percentage of your revenue is export related, Then we'd also target you for trade missions, opportunities to be able to grow your network base within a certain region. So there's certainly learning content for businesses that are already currently exporting. It's just very specific to your business profile. And that's really the biggest distinction between non-exporters and current exporters. Non-exporters have a lot of business basics, how to create your export plan, how to know if you're ready to take your product or service to international markets, versus current exporters would have more information about deepening your market concentration, expanding your market network, and how to really leverage your current exporting potential to expand elsewhere.
There you go. So Aramid, you've got, doesn't matter what stage you are in the export process, the most important thing is that you get on there, you sign up, and you learn. Basically create your profile, and then it depends on what stage your business is at, there are resources for you. So another question, we'll start off with Cassandra, then we'll go through to Edith and Devon, is does the business need to be incorporated to be able to participate in this, Cassandra?
No, you do not. We have it's open to sole practitioners, it's open to sort of your LLPs, it's open to incorporation. When you go on our site, you'll find it's the whole range. So whatever your particular business model is, that would be acceptable.
There you go. So really quite simple. So you can participate even if you're a sole proprietor. And Edith, do you guys have any restrictions about whether you're a sole proprietor or a corporation?
Nope, we do not. We just ask you be formally registered in the formal business sector.
There you go. And Devon, on your platform, on the Magnet Business Portal platform, are there any restrictions here?
No, exactly to Edith's comment. Do not need to be incorporated, but do need to be registered as a business.
There you go. So it makes it really, really quite simple to be able to get involved. From Armid, can you get involved? So the question here is, let's say I'm a small business owner. Where's the best place to get information about both these programs? And maybe, Devon, you can answer that question. Is I'm a business owner, I'm interested in the CAMSC program, and I'm interested in the diverse supplier program. Where's the one place I should be going to?
Yeah, so in terms of finding out more about CAMSC or WeConnect, or whichever program or offering makes most sense for your business, when we send the webinar recording to registrants, we'll be sending along the direct link to navigate both CAMSC and WeConnect websites to learn more about their specific programs. If you're interested in tapping into either one of those programs and being up to date with what's going on in their specific organizations, as both of them have spoken to, there's a free registration process where you can register your business. So it's just about identifying which of the organizations makes most sense for your business, whether you identify as a woman-owned business or whether you identify as an Aboriginal minority-owned business, and then navigating the site from there. So all of that information will be provided in our follow-up email. In terms of connecting to that same organization through the export portal, it's just signing in through their URL, which again will be identified in the follow-up email. So you'll have all of that information in a simple email, and it's just a matter of going through the registration process, which across the board sounds like it's very simple and time effective, especially for those small businesses.
So I think it's a great opportunity for small business owners, so I encourage you all to check it out. Okay, so we're going to, a couple of final words. We've got a few minutes left, about 3 minutes left. A couple of final words. Let's start off with Edith. Edith, tell us a couple of final words and advice for people online and for small business owners in general.
Sure. Well, first of all, I want to thank Magnet for inviting us to be part of this discussion, and really appreciate you putting this together. I know it takes a lot of effort to do this, and I just want to encourage any, especially women-owned business on the call, to reach out to me or Chelsea if you have any questions. From the women-owned businesses that we have had in our network, and I've had the privilege to travel out to many countries where we have activities, most have said we wish we'd done it sooner. It can cut years off of knocking on doors of large corporations or their tier 1, tier 2 suppliers just by joining us and getting your face in front of them, as it were. So I'd say if you're thinking about doing it and you're ready to grow, definitely go for it, give it a shot, or talk to us about it. And also just want to salute all the entrepreneurs on the call. I was at the Canadian Embassy here in Washington, D.C., where we're based, just this morning talking with Global Affairs Canada, who is down here for the day, about what we can do to support women entrepreneurs in Canada and elsewhere. And I think the opportunity is really ripe for entrepreneurship globally. So I salute you. I know it's tough. It's a roller coaster ride to be an entrepreneur. So keep going and don't hesitate to reach out to these resources who can help you.
Thank you very much for that. And Cassandra, a couple of final words to end of our webinar.
Okay, thank you. First of all, thanks to Megan and thanks to you, Andrew, for the opportunity to be able to sort of share what CAMSC does. We think it's important in any forum we have to be able to share that information. It works for us because we want people to be able to find out, use the opportunity, and grow. So secondly, I want to be able to say that CAMSC certified, this would be both male and female. So I want to make sure people are clear on that. As Edith has said, I think just making sure that people take the opportunity to learn about what certifying bodies are out there, and then call us, email us. It's always an opportunity for us to share. Does it make sense for you at this particular point in time in your business life cycle? We'd love to be able to have that discussion, and I would encourage everyone to take the initial step. If you're not prepared to certify, take the step to just to sign on to the free portal and see what it entails and what opportunities might be there for you. And then the next step would be, oh, maybe I am ready now to be certified. So certification is a market access tool. It doesn't cost a lot to get in the market and then to be able to utilize it. And last but not least, April 16th and 17th, which is just next week, CAMSC is having its procurement fair. If you happen to be in the area, I strongly encourage you to step in and join. Just take advantage, and that's your sort of a bird's eye view as to what does this actually look like and what would it mean to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Cassandra. And Devin, a couple of final words.
Yeah, I think Edith and Cassandra summed it up quite eloquently, that this is all about increasing your market access, and we are trying to avoid you being a business that says, I wish I'd done it sooner. So in our follow-up email, when we set into all of the links and information to connect, please action one of those items. There are multiple free registration processes. Action one of them and get your business on the road to either certification or to growing and expanding your export and trade. So please watch out for that email. And as to Cassandra's point, we'll send out information about the procurement fair that's just next week. It's an excellent opportunity, and the Magnet Export will be there helping to promote CAMSC's landing page. And so we encourage you to stop by and learn more about the service.
Thank you very much, Devin. And I just want to remind everybody that you will be getting information about, a little bit more information about the program. And then if you've got more specific questions, you can always communicate with Cassandra, and you can communicate with Edith, and they can help you through this process. I would like to thank Magnet Business Portal, firstly, for hosting this webinar today and bringing it all together. I really appreciate that, and I encourage you to participate and join the Magnet Business Portal and find out more information about these programs. Also, I'd like to thank Cassandra about the Aboriginal and Minority Supplier Council. I think it's an interesting opportunity, and I enjoyed your example. And then Edith from WeConnect International. It's a great opportunity for small business owners to export, to grow. There are resources out there for you, and I encourage you to check them out. So sign up for the Magnet Export Business Portal. Check out the resources available for you, and most importantly, learn how to grow your business. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. Hopefully every single one of you learned one or two things that you can use to grow your business. Thank you very much.